I mean, in its most simplistic form, everyone needs to connect to nature. Everyone. To look back and think, oh, you've done that 20 years, you know? And sometimes I think we don't really know hard until like we look back and thought, oh, those first couple of years were really hard. You know, now it may be hard, but not as difficult as those first couple of years were.
The Horticulture Center is part of the Department of Agriculture at ISU. It is we're just getting ready to celebrate our 5th birthday with the Autumnal Festival that's coming up here in about a week. 5 years prior to this, it was on Gregory Street. We had a tiny little space. That's when the ISU farm was on Gregory Street about year 2000 or so. When they moved, horticulture got moved, and so now we're out here on Rab, which is a much lovelier spot. We have about 12 acres.
I was given a conceptual plan at the time, and the center was only 10 acres. But pretty quickly I realized that without any support or funds, that conceptual plan was going to take a long time. And so then I looked at it and I thought, okay, what can I do that is feasible with the funds and a little bit of fundraising? And that was the prairie, which is behind us here. And that was really the first garden that we started. I have learned over the 20 years there's a respect and a beauty and all the history that comes with prairies. Most Illinoisans don't understand or grasp prairie at all. And 61% of our state was prairie. Here in central Illinois, we had tall grass prairie, and right now we have about, in this county, about 4 acres of remnant prairie.
One of the things I've done is drive the electric car with people through the prairie, and they've never had no idea that the prairie could be so beautiful and so interesting and diverse.
Of all the gardens, that's the garden that means the most to me. Often I try and see it like 10, 15 years ahead. You know, if I look at just where we're sitting now, this was a corn soybean field when we started. So it's changed in the way it looks, definitely in the way of pollinators, you know, and the wildlife that we have out here. The number of students that have participated at the center over the years, and whether that was a single class or an honors project or a special problems project, independent study, so many students have helped to create this center. And the other thing that's changed is the community and the volunteers.
So I actually grew up in Bloomington Normal, and from when I was just a little guy running around, my parents actually volunteered out here. So I kind of grew up with the center, and then as I got a little older, I've definitely volunteered a little more. This is our 20th year. I've been here for 4 years as a student, 1 year full-time, and then probably almost a decade in total. The more people I get out here and that enjoy the space, that's kind of the most important thing for me. When you have such a great resource, I just want to share it with the community, make sure that people are making the most of it.
Because we are a part of Illinois State University, and I thoroughly believe in this noble pursuit of education, that we really try and educate people about whatever it is, whatever collaborators come in or whatever theme we have, and so that they learn something a little bit.
We started as more of a traditional fall festival, apple cider, corn mazes, hayrack rides, but over the years we kind of realized that that role has already somewhat been filled within the community. We felt we could come at it from a unique angle.
What are you going to see? What are you going to learn at the festival that's new? The second thing that we really have tried to do the last couple of years is focus more the festival being an educational botanical event in terms of adding art, elements of art as well. That's really cool that you're able to bring together nature and art, and they just go so well together. Every year the Horticulture Center has a new theme. We learn about things in a new way, and then we get to share it with the ISU community and with the public. This year, it's the Refrains of Nature, revealing the world's hidden patterns. Awestruck the Wonder of Nature, which is last year's theme. I spent a lot of time looking, like really looking at nature, stopping and looking at the little hairs on a stem, or how the little edges on a leaf. And I was like, wow, look at the pattern on that. And then like you look up in the sky and like, look at the pattern in the clouds. And so in awe, I found patterns, and I thought patterns is a great theme for this year, being 20 years, which is an anniversary, which is a pattern. And then we try and showcase it in many different ways at the festival. This is the only weekend that we charge, and that's the fundraiser. So you're supporting your local horticulture center.
We hope they come back when there isn't an event, because it's always open. And it's a good place to take a walk. It's a great place to see the sunset. And the flowers are always beautiful. And we work hard to make the flowers stay beautiful. So it's a good place to be. It's the prettiest place in Bloomington Normal, I think. And there's other really nice gardens. But this is the special place.
The center is a collaborative effort. Like over 20 years, it has been so many people who over the years have given their ideas, their time, their hard work, their donations, their support. And so over 20 years, this would not have been, we would not be here if it wasn't for so many people. This center would not exist without it. It would be like one garden, like just the vegetable. Joe and I would just be taking care of the vegetable garden if it wasn't for the volunteers. It makes it so that it's hard to ever think of leaving. You're always thinking about those people. I'd like to think they would have given you a bunch of money and said, here you go. I don't know if it would have been as special as it is now because of all the people that have helped to build it.